We're starting, should I record that we're starting at 3:30 or
All
not?
right, look, we were a little late due to traffic concerns.
I will have to leave at
Yep, it's okay.
4:10.
Well, we'll try to get this
Wrapped up.
wrapped up. We have no members of the public here, so that's okay. Any problems with the, very good job on the minutes last time, I thought?
Well, the problem is the last sheet there, it says next meeting July 15. Do you want me to change that, or is that still?
We didn't have a meeting in July, remember we
No,
canceled
we
that?
didn't, but
All right.
that's the
But his
point.
minute, he wants to correct the
Oh,
minutes.
you can correct it. Well, let's correct the minutes, and to have it say no meeting in July.
Do you want to change history or what? I mean,
We're going to
this,
change history, no meeting in July.
so I'm going to put down is this a lie that the next meeting was planned back then for August 6th, or?
So funny.
Sure.
So perfect.
You can say whatever you want, because we haven't posted yet. Anything is true until we post, and then we have to go with what's...
But you know, we're great. We have minutes. I have tried to follow the affordable housing.
Yes, but you can't find them? No?
No minutes, no. I mean, I have turned the sign
Right,
upside down.
right.
No
Well,
minutes.
I tell you, some of the some committees,
They don't.
they just don't do it, and nobody says anything. I mean, we try to make sure that we do some of the things that, but anyway. So, all in favor of approving the June meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so you can post those as amended, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of Cape Light Compact updates. You know, we had Brianna come the other day, and so that's just chugging along. If anything new comes up, I'll let you know.
And the three of us showed up at the presentation down at the
Oh, that's
community
right,
center.
that's right.
And,
Did anybody show up?
yeah, there were people who showed up. I don't know, were there a dozen people besides us that showed up? A little bit
Maybe
less than
10.
a dozen, maybe 10?
That's good, that's more than came the last time, to the previous one.
They did a nice job. I thought they
Yeah.
did a nice
Yeah,
job.
but I'm going to add that I tried to follow their advice. And I called Rice, and they came to my house, and they told me what kind of a heat pump I needed, and they gave me a list of 13 installers.
Yeah?
And I managed to get one estimate. And Rebecca Martin from Cape Light Compact sent me a list, because I said, I need more people.
Right, you have to have at least three, that they recommend three, you
Yeah,
know, minimum.
but the 13
I know,
outfits
yeah.
that there didn't take me anywhere, so
Yeah.
I got back to Rebecca, and Rebecca said, send me something absolutely useless, and she let me know that that's the best she can do, and that ended there.
Other people have been getting
So
called back, yeah.
this is
She's
not
trying
possible.
to give feedback here.
Right.
Saying that doesn't seem to be working, the system, basically.
Right. Well, I mean, for you it didn't work. I have talked to other people that it worked fine. You know, they got like 3 or 4 estimates. So I think it's one of those things. You would have to be the squeaky wheel for those other installers, and you know, keep calling them until you get a response from them.
Okay,
Right.
I will maybe do it.
Yeah. You know, pick out some ones that are not too far away, and you know.
Yeah, because most of them are
Off
off
Cape,
Cape.
yeah. So anyway, so I will take that back, of course, to our next meeting, which is next week.
Okay.
But in the meantime, you know, try recalling some of the ones that aren't too far away and see if you can get a response out of them.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can scare up. I know that the Cape Light Compact, and she sent you any other names besides the 13 that were on the?
No names, 0. She sent me a link, a useless link,
Yeah.
with all kinds of things, but no installers.
Okay. So I will bring that up at the next meeting,
Terrific.
which is next Wednesday, yes.
But you had a list of 11 people?
13
13?
that Rice gave me. When Rice came to my house, they gave me a
Oh.
printout,
Okay.
not a link where I had to swim, you know, in the middle of something that I don't understand.
And you-
Something easy. the list,
And
the
you
printout.
called them, do they at least answer the phone?
You talking about
Most
the
of the time,
installers?
just a recording.
Most of the time
But I
they're
did
recording.
follow up. I put the date when I had called them, and I had
Okay.
people who told me they were coming. I made a date. I waited for them. They didn't show up. Another
Okay.
one came and said, "I will send you," and never sent me. I sent a follow-up email. Nothing. Dead.
Yeah.
So
I think part of what we are experiencing at this moment in time is probably what the early adopters of the automobile experienced, in that they probably had a really hard time getting parts, getting people to fix the automobiles that they had, because the automobile started to become so popular faster than there were people that were able to. And right now, so many people are installing heat pumps
Okay.
that most of these installers don't need any new work. They have enough work to keep them going for the next year.
That's what I
Yeah.
heard from
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
off Cape.
Yeah, but
I'm
I will
up here.
definitely look into it. I'm gonna see if we can scare up a more localized list, something on the
Absolutely.
Cape.
And
Yeah.
a printout of the data,
She
not a
should, she
link.
shouldn't be giving her names of people off the Cape. She shouldn't be giving her people from Falmouth. She should be giving her
Well,
right
the-
around this area right in
The
here.
problem is that in order to get your rebates, the installer has to be certified by Mass Save.
Right.
So you can't just
Yeah.
call up Harwich Port Heating and Cooling. You could, and they could come and install a heat pump, but you won't be eligible for a rebate, because if they're not on the approved list,
Yeah, 80% of the people
Why
are off
wouldn't, why
Cape.
wouldn't they be?
some of them don't like the paperwork.
Oh.
They don't like to, they have enough rich people that'll just pay full price.
Can't you just ask them if they are?
I mean, you could definitely call people like Harwich Port Heating and
you
Cooling,
call them?
or any local
Did you call them?
person
Harwich Port?
and
No.
ask them.
I don't
if they-
like Patrick Judge.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna see if I can find some more names.
Well, I would think that they would be, I mean, that's the biggest supplier around here.
Patrick Judge is not here.
Yeah, and some of people don't sign up because they don't have to. They have
Right.
plenty of business. They don't need.
I believe that's his case.
Yeah.
We
And
used
I'll
to use
also
them.
assume that when you called people that were off Cape, right, you did call some people that were off Cape. As
Yes.
soon as you gave them your address.
They said, "Forget it."
They're not even gonna call you back.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
say, it's gotta be localized, the list that they give you. They can't just give you a list for all of Massachusetts.
All right. So I will look into that, and
Terrific.
I'll email you if they give me any information right away.
Super.
And then we'll talk about it next time. CVAC, anything coming up from CVAC?
The only thing with CVAC is if we wanna do something, the game has changed. So after COVID, it really changed. So whether or not you're looking at lead times on material or just inflation and where the prices have gone. So, I mean, if you want me to, and I'll report on EVs too while I'm doing CVAC.
Okay.
I've got a walk down on Friday with Joe and the head of the DPW down at the schoolhouse. So I'll bring up community solar and the fact that we own land that's set aside for it.
Right.
So if I get any kind of inkling that he might be interested, then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. But,
Yeah,
you know.
my understanding with community solar, because we do community solar at Self-Reliance. We've been doing it for years. And if anyone wants to become part of a community solar project, you can call Self-Reliance, and if they have room, if they have enough room for other people to subscribe, you can subscribe and get a discount. But the problem that we're finding is that, like you said, the metrics have changed, and they're looking for much bigger projects. Because in order to make money on it, because they're not making money on
Scale.
selling the electricity, they're making money on the
On
RECs, the
scale.
tax credits, and, all of that. And our little chunk of land, it's just not attractive, to a developer. Because like you said, it costs more to do it now, the panels and it's mostly labor, actually. Panels are going down, but the labor and the transportation and, all the connecting stuff is, and maybe CVAC is really good at doing, organizing things. And so maybe you can talk to Marie, and if Brewster had a little chunk of land, and Harwich had a little chunk of land, and Chatham had a little chunk of land, that could be, so even though they're not contiguous pieces of property, if they they could develop those three chunks of land simultaneously. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
she threw that at me
Yeah.
because of the school down here, the technical school.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at doing something too, but they pulled back on that. Because she did reach out to me and say, would you be interested in going with them?
Right. But maybe, in theory, anybody that became a green community, which is pretty much everybody on the Cape except Barnstable, they never did, had to set aside this land, a piece of land.
And does this
That's a good
land,
idea.
does it actually abut the actual, it does, okay.
So anyway, that, I'm just throwing that out there that, you know,
Well, I
if
can-
we, it's not as good as like, if it ended up being, you know, like 30 acres, but 10, 20, 30, you know, in 10-acre plots, not as good as one plot, but
Well.
maybe if they could come down and develop three at the same time. Anyway,
Not a bad
so
idea.
it's just an idea to throw out there.
It's an
So-
option.
Yeah.
And as far as the EV charging updates,
At least you're going to walk down to schoolhouse.
he was on vacation last week and I didn't hear back. And then I did talk to Natasha today, so he is back. And that, you know, the head of the DPW, I forget his name, but he's going to meet us down there. So once again, refresh my memory. Once again, we're going with a level 2 charger.
Level 2s.
But when we talk about other places, which I just want to make sure I bring up the right information, I believe we said, is it 204?
204 Sisson
And then we.
in the community center.
In the community center. That's what I had written down. That's why I said to him in an email.
Yep.
You know, that if the money's there, you know, and Barnstable is putting in 5 of these units for less than $10,000,
Yeah. Maybe we,
why
why
do
isn't
one?
somebody in our government
So-
looking into that, you
Yeah.
know? Because they have access, if you're an actual town official, you have access to things that we don't, you know, as far as information and, you know, that type of thing.
Did everybody see this one that Jacqueline sent out about the last paragraph here? It says, this is, 150,000 will be allocated to the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce and Cape Cod Commission to install electric vehicle charging infrastructure at Cape hotels, with Fernandez saying it is positioning Cape Cod at the forefront of eco-friendly travel while boosting its important tourism sector.
So that's through the chamber, and so that would go to commercial.
Well,
People, not
I'll take
town.
anything at this point. Since the town of Harwich doesn't seem to want to move forward, maybe we can get some other people to do something like this.
And I'm sure that Cindy Williams will probably gets that. I mean, Cindy Williams is our
You think she even
chamber.
knows about that?
I'm sure she does. She's our chamber belongs to the, you know, the big overall Cape Cod chamber, you know, of the towns, and so I'm sure they're looking at that. Let me tell you something. What my church, little teensy weensy Harwich United Methodist Church, we have completely 100% heat pump installation. We got that done and working. You know, all our lights were retrofitted. All the bad. We did not pay a penny, not for installation, not for equipment, not for anything.
Because you're a church?
Because we're a church. We just got solicited through our conference, you know, the New England Methodist Conference. We can put in 5 EV chargers in our parking lot for nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Are they level 3?
No, level 2, yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
the one at the 5 corners there that you have to wait at all the stop signs there?
Yeah.
So it works,
That's the one
it
they
works
gi-
better than the town.
Is that the one
Absolutely.
they give out popcorn if you pop in?
No. No.
Is this by the Cape Cod Beach chair?
Yes, right next to the Cape Cod Beach chair. Yeah. Now, here's the sad thing. I have to work on Sunday, so I'm not been to church for a while. And so my poor minister, she brought it up, and the average age of our church is something like 78 or so. I mean, it's
Wow. That's the
old,
way all
you know.
that's the way all churches
Right,
are.
right. And they don't want it. They don't want the chargers. They think it'll take up too many parking spaces. They're worried that the thrift shop people
You can
won't
park a
find.
regular car there if you.
That's what we.
That's ironic. Here we are struggling and they are denying it.
Yeah.
Do you have like deacons, like a committee?
Yeah, it was at administrative council. They didn't want it.
administrative.
Tell them that they might bring more people to
Well,
the
you know,
church.
hopefully, I'm gonna try to, you know, send a letter
And yeah,
that they can
would
read,
involve
you
younger
know.
people.
Yeah, but anyway, so but the point is, there's a, like, you know, you saw that program, you know, with the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, and obviously, you know, there's something they're working. Some companies are working through church organizations and blah 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 blah.
How
So
did your church get money? It wasn't from the government, was it?
to do the
To do the work that.
oh,
you
that came through
described.
Cape Light Compact. They have a special program for nonprofits.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so it's not related to the government.
Well, and technically,
Technically,
yeah. Yeah.
it kind of does,
Yeah,
but it's,
but yeah. Now the EV charges is IRA money. I mean, it's, you know,
Inflation Reduction Act
Yeah.
money.
so that
The town of Harwich just doesn't think ahead. I was on this committee at my church. We're putting in a sewer system. Well, we're connecting to the sewer
Right.
system. And they originally said that we're gonna have the sewer system down so low and that you won't need a sewage pump. And then when they found out how much it was gonna cost, they said, you still have to connect up everybody on 137,
Right.
because it's this Lutheran church up there. They said, but we're gonna raise the sewer line up, and you're gonna have to supply a $1,500 sewage pump to pump all your sewage up to the thing here. And then they said, we're gonna supply the sewage pump because we changed the design. And then they never come up with the money. So I'm on this committee, and they said, we have these low quotes, that this is during COVID. I said, let's go ahead and send out the quotes and have our supplier, and we'll pay for the $1,500 because we have to meet a certain date to connect up. I said, but however, send a letter to the town of Harwich and tell them that this is a charitable organization, it's a church,
right.
and we're following your instructions, where we have written instructions to say, get the sewer connected by a certain date, and you changed the rules and promised us that you were gonna supply this pump, but you never did because you just don't have the, Anyway, and he had the administrator, when he wrote this letter, and they asked him to come down to the selectmen meeting and make a presentation on behalf of all the 10 people that were involved up there. My insistence about him telling them to write that stupid letter. So I don't know whether they're gonna reimburse him or not, but that's the way the town of Harwich acts.
It just, the town moves exceedingly slow on just about everything.
Even when they promise stuff, they get different people in there, they know nothing about their promises. That's what I always tell them, to get everything in writing from the town of Harwich
Yeah.
when he's doing all this stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so we will wait with bated breath to see what.
if I get any information that is
information.
really good, I'll email everybody
Yeah.
after I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah. All right, so we'll just keep plugging along with that. What time is it? 3. Okay, so the DVs. Now this is not officially on the agenda, so we won't discuss it. I got an email from Pam, Pam Latimer, who's come to our meetings a couple times. I didn't have a chance to send it on to you guys, which I will. Did I send it? Anyway, I'll check, Anyway, she's spearheading a group who wants to petition the town to get an energy coordinator. And even if and to try to see if they maybe, I don't know, Dennis or somebody will share it with us or something, So anyway, I will send you that information, and maybe next time we meet, I'll try to get back to Pam and see.
And our own exclusive energy coordinator, not teaming up with other towns.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford that.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to sell that. You could sell what yours.
If we get one, we're gonna invite them to our meetings.
If we had one, of course they would come, I mean,
Of course.
that would be their job, is to.
And what does Pam expect of this person as far as job responsibilities? I know you said an energy person, but nowadays
does that
people
mean?
Look at-
kind of loop together energy and environmental issues and grants, soliciting money from the state. There's lots of different things out there, right?
Let me see if I can find the email again, and.
She seems to be pretty sharp, so I'm guessing she put
Yeah.
some thought into what she wants that person to.
Okay, so
Do.
she said. Now, this is just what she is saying. I cannot,
I understand.
say if this was correct or incorrect, but this is her, quote, from what I understand, Harwich was contacted by someone and was told by someone in the town administration that we were not interested in sharing an energy coordinator.
Meaning, us?
We didn't have anything to do with it. It completely went, it was, must have been somebody,
But shouldn't we clarify that it doesn't include
but
the
she's not
energy
saying,
committee?
she's not saying it's us.
Oh, okay.
She's saying that it was probably when they were getting organized, somebody in Brewster or somebody said, we should call Harwich and see if they're interested, and they were shot down, right?
So was it Joe?
No, she doesn't know.
We don't know, she did, okay. So,
Must have been.
You would think that would have been the person they would have contacted.
Absolutely.
Well, why don't you get a name from her?
she probably doesn't know.
Yes.
She know.
But you cannot do anything if you don't have people behind it. Something behind it.
I would assume that if she said
It's
town
hearsay,
administrator's office,
hearsay.
that the town administrator would be the only one that would.
Yeah.
So
weigh in.
she's trying to get people interested in revisiting the whole
Okay.
thing. I'll forward this to you, and,
So we should not put that in the minutes?
no, not yet,
Yeah,
because
it was on the agenda.
It's hearsay.
I'm gonna forward it to you, and then next meeting, it will go on the agenda, and we can discuss it more, so just be looking for that. Anything else that has come up that,
Well, it's not on the agenda, but when I go to the community center, I usually stop at that little, it's not even a desk, right in front of the desk where it's got that month activities and whatnot. And when we just had that thing with Cape Light Compact, you went a different route, but I find people grab that little piece of paper and look to see what's on that agenda. So I'm just wondering if going forward, if we could maybe use that as a tool.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say that we can't ourselves, maybe every other month or however we want to, come up with a little presentation, but not even Cape Light Compact, we do it ourselves,
Well,
and put it on that
I was
thing.
gonna say, okay, with what you just went through, do you think Cape Light Compact would set aside someone for an hour once a month, once every other month, to have an office down there so that if Jackie wanted to get somebody to come and look at putting in, mini splits in her house, that person would be there to hold her hand and maybe, Jackie knows what to do, other people don't.
Right.
So yes, you had 10 people that came to get information, but if all of a sudden people saw, I pointed this out to my sister and my wife that, there's $10,000 from here, and granted, you have to meet the income requirements, but, I've gone down there for help when it came to signing up for Medicare, and
Through like Shine?
just
So
like
maybe we have
Shine.
an energy version of Shine.
Exactly right, and somebody from Cape Light comes down for an
That is-
hour every
that-
2 months.
That exact thing that you're describing is in our next three-year plan, which will start in 2026.
3-year plan of who?
Cape Light Compact.
Oh,
Yeah, we have to produce,
Okay, well,
every
I
3
thought
years
you
we
were
have
talking
to.
about our 3-year
Oh,
plan.
no. And so they,
didn't
and,
know we
they
had a
have
3-year
funding
plan
for,
frame.
it's all built in to the plan. Now, assuming that the DPU, blesses it and says, yes, you can do all of this. And, so because they're not unaware that people do struggle from time to
Do
time.
you want any of this discussion, since you said it's not on the agenda,
No.
in the
It's
minutes?
Cape Light Compact, so we can, yeah.
Yeah, just
It-
put it
Put
underneath
it
the
under
bullet for
Cape Light Compact discussion. And that, I forget what they're calling it. We've nicknamed it like energy navigators.
That's actually a pretty good.
Like they had navigators for the healthcare. Remember when Obamacare first came out? They had people that you could go to and they would help you, So, we've nicknamed it energy navigators. I'm not sure that would be the ultimate term, but, and they're going to be actually hiring staff and everything to accommodate this, where there would be, the theory is, and again, how it shakes out in real life, we'll see. But the theory is that when you called Cape Light Compact, if we'd had this plan in place, you would get a person, and that person would be your person, and that person might have said to you, sorry to hear that, Jackie. I'm going to look to see if we can find some other people on the list. And then she would have called you back and said, why don't you try these contractors? Let me know if that works out.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
what I thought it would be the case with
Yeah.
Rebecca Martin.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Right. A lot of the people at Cape Light Compact, you know, there's nobody who's dedicated to just sit there and help people.
Yeah.
They all have like other jobs that they're
Absolutely,
doing,
yeah.
you know,
I
and
could
so
tell.
that's when we realized that, and that's
Yeah.
why we wrote it into the next 3-year plan, that we do need
A
people.
navigator.
We need navigators, we need people who don't have another job to do, who can sit on the phone and say, Jackie, let me call Mass Save and see what they say about, and then maybe you pick some contractors, you call and say, are these guys legit, you know,
Yeah.
have you, you know, and she could say, well, you know, I'll check that for you, and, you know, and filling out paperwork. So now, you know, you pick a contractor now, it's like, how do I get the rebate? You know, how do I fill out this form?
Yeah,
If you
that's
have,
another big
Yeah.
question mark.
you know, what do I have to do? You know, what is the form, you know? And somebody that said, okay, this is what you need for the form, make sure you have this information available, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it won't help us today,
Yeah.
But
But
it-
somebody's already.
it is in the works. Now, I don't think they'll be setting up, again, but you raise a good question. I don't think they'll be setting up a permanent kind of place, but I think that within the Energy Navigator concept, maybe they go to Brewster on one week and Harwich another week,
Yeah.
and, you know, and just like you could make an appointment for Shine, maybe you make an appointment for the Energy Navigator, and
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
help you.
Yeah, because they are promoting one end of this effort, but not the other
Right.
end.
Right, and they, like Cape Light Compact, they're not contractors. They can't, you know, they can go just so far, but they can't make somebody call you, and they can't make the installation happen, because we're still working with private, you know.
I still think they ought to be more localized. They shouldn't be.
Well,
they-
that's
type
out of the
approach.
realm of Cape Light Compact. It's whoever signs up, you know, and if the contractor.
Yeah, but when they're giving out the information, they ought to pinpoint, this woman's in Harwich, let's just give her stuff within 20 miles of Harwich. So that-
Well, I think because there's so few that do it, I think because I have known people who have had fairly decent luck with off-Cape contractors, because what they do is they line up 2 or 3 jobs on the Cape. And so when they come down here, they're not
Make
just
it
doing
worthwhile.
one job, they're doing like 3 or 4
I have to do
jobs.
that with my gas fireplace.
Yeah.
And the last woman to come down here by herself, she really solved the problem. She took out an extra switch, and I had this micro switcher that flips on the wall, and it was adding additional resistance, and all these other guys that I had paid a couple $100 each time, they fiddled around with it and replaced the electrical switches out here, didn't reduce the resistance in the whole circuit. And this woman here actually solved the problem for me, and I never have to call them again. So,
Oh, so she's a great person.
yeah, well, I mean, I was surprised that a woman would be that smart with the electronic circuitry.
10 minutes.
Was she a cat lady? No, I'm sorry.
There's a place right in town. What's the name of the stove place?
Right by Shaw's.
Yes.
These are these gas fireplaces that were installed by the, and they only have people that only people that can work on them are the people that install them. And this particular contractor that built these houses in my street, they hired, there's a local firm down here, it's the same manufacturer, and they won't service anything that they didn't install. That's just the way they are. So I've gone through this many times. It's the same brand, why can't you come over here? I can't service anything.
He's my neighbor. I want to ask him that question when I see him, because I do have to see him for something else. But
Interesting. Okay, now here's, I have found out that I have to go in for surgery in October.
Oh,
So October 4th.
hopefully nothing terribly serious.
It's not life-threatening, but it's like 4 to 6 weeks recovery, you know, so, I mean, it's not like an emergency, but it's gonna be a while. So.
well, we
it's
wish
not-
you well.
Yeah,
Yes.
which means, it's not till October, but we may not be able to have an October meeting, or you may have to just do it yourself,
That's fine.
Okay.
you know. So I'm just giving you
So
the heads up.
what do you want me to put in the meeting,
All right, so-
minutes when the next meeting is?
So I had, tentatively, I had Tuesday, September 24th for,
September.
that's for September. So is there?
At 3 o'clock,
At 3 o'clock.
and that is a Tuesday?
That's a Tuesday.
I'll check to see if
So
that's
if
good
you
for
could
me.
check your calendars and let me know if we have to change it, we can change it, but,
So we don't need to talk about October right now. do
no,
we?
but I'm just giving you a heads up so that, you know.
Okay.
So hopefully, things will move with the
I don't think-
chargers. And,
I don't think they're gonna be stalled if he's actually got the guy from the DPW meeting with us, so I'm assuming that something's in the works.
yeah.
I'll find out on Friday.
Right, and, yeah, I mean, I will be very curious to know what all
Can
happened.
you email us when you find out?
If I find out
Or is
that they're looking at
illegal?
going forward,
Is
I'll
that
let you
illegal
know.
to do that?